This is RnR English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of RnR English. Episode number 244, baby. Oh yeah. In today's episode we are carrying on with this new series of talking to other teachers, other podcasters, other YouTubers, and today I speak to Ronan from Little Seal English. Now, Ronan lives in Canada, but he is originally from Ireland. So we speak about all things Irish. As I mentioned to Ronan in the podcast, I think the Irish have this almost mystery about them. Everyone is interested in what the Irish do. Like me, like you. And today we are going to find out. We are going to find out, for example, what the craic means, why you can have fun at funerals, the meaning of the word grand, which I actually didn't know, the wonders of 7-Up, the drink, what it can do for you, some religious terminology, and why the news is on at 6:01 in Ireland. Just quickly before I go, remember the RnR English family membership closes on Wednesday, okay? Remember, the RnR English family is the community behind the podcast where you get many more podcasts, in fact more than 700, private lessons with me, group lessons, video lessons, and lots of other bloody good stuff. So you have 48 hours or wait until January next year. So that's enough of me talking. Here is the conversation. Happy listening. Hello, Ronan, and welcome to RnR English.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Good to have you. You have the honour of being the very first Irish person to be on this podcast.
And you have the honour of finally hosting an Irish person, so it's a first day for both of us.
Absolutely. I just want to say, I haven't invited Irish people because I don't like Irish people. I just don't really know any. And then I saw you on Instagram and I thought, that's my guy right there.
Damn right, man. I'm right here, right now. Let's do it.
Exactly. So, considering you're the first Irish person we've ever had on the show, I thought I could ask you some things about Ireland, okay? And you can tell me if they're true. I always think Ireland's a place, everyone's quite curious about Ireland. I think everyone's kind of think what goes on there, like
as they should. They should be curious because it is such a beautiful, majestic country with lots and lots of different things going on and from every side of it. So
yeah, like I think people ask themselves, do leprechauns really run around?
Well, you have to go over and find out for yourself about that.
Right. Okay. So I put into Google. You know you're Irish when, okay? And then I got like one of those stupid lists from a stupid website, and then I thought we could talk about these, and you can tell me if they are actually true, because lots of these things on these websites are obviously not, okay?
Definitely. I can imagine what some of them will be, but go for it.
Right, okay. So the first one is something I really like, actually. It says, you do things just for the craic. It says, because you do it because if it goes badly, it will be a great story. Is this right?
Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. The craic it's like the first thing you would tell someone about what you miss from Ireland whenever you live abroad.
Right.
And they're always confused about, what do you mean, the craic?
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I suppose it is difficult to explain. I suppose, how can we explain it? For just for the fun of it. Like,
humor.
It will be fun.
Yeah, for humor. So
right.
The craic itself is what we would call Irish humor. And if you do something for the craic, you're doing it for fun. You're doing it for shits and giggles. You're doing it because it's going to be a laugh, you know?
Yeah, that's such a great term, shits and giggles.
I don't even know where it came from, but I love it.
Yeah, I don't either. But yeah, it is such a great term. And even the word craic, it's spelt in such a strange way, isn't it? Because you would normally think it's spelt in the normal craic, like C-R-A-C-K. But it's actually spelt C-R-A-I-C. I mean, what is that I doing in there?
Well, it's a derivative of the Irish language, I imagine. I don't know exactly, but that's something that I will look up. But I'd imagine it is definitely down to the Irish language.
Right, okay. And staying on the topic of
Crack.
the crack, this one I thought was really good. It says you often have more of a crack at funerals than some weddings. It said, obviously, as long as the person has lived to a good age,
Yeah.
you have more of a crack at a funeral than than a wedding.
That is definitely accurate. 100%. Where you would go to a wake or a funeral and there would definitely be some loud music, if provided, as you said, the person had a good life. You'd have a session for the person.
Right. In honour, just to get
of course.
blind drunk.
It's what they would want.
Exactly. It's like we're doing this for, this person that's passed away.
Yeah.
We're making this sacrifice. My granddad was actually Irish from the north, from Northern Ireland. And there were quite a few beers at his funeral, but still, I wouldn't say it was like a proper party.
Northern Ireland can be very different to the Republic, and I've been to funerals in Northern Ireland, and they are very different up there. And so my mom is from Northern Ireland, so we would have gone up quite a bit when we were kids, and they tend to have more dry funerals up there. That's definitely a common thing.
The boring funerals up there.
That's what we might call them.
if you're going to go to a funeral, make sure it's in the Republic of Ireland. Okay?
Yes, have a bit of fun.
Yeah, just for the crack. Right, okay. Brilliant.
Actually, but just speaking about crack, and this is something that would be good for you or for anyone who goes to Ireland, one of the main greetings is, what's the crack?
What's the crack?
That is one of the main greetings that you would say to a person in Ireland, and that just translates to, how are you? So,
right. Interesting. What's the crack?
But don't say it in Canada because they think you're asking for drugs at that stage.
Right. Okay. Good. Yeah. Strong drugs as well, I think.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Very good to know. And a point here, I mean, this is similar in England as well, that basically if you ever go to a pub and you don't order an alcoholic drink, people either assume you're pregnant if you're a woman, or basically you've got a serious health problem and like taking strong medication, because there's no other reason to not get an alcoholic drink. So when you say dry shite, you mean someone like very boring, yeah?
That would be the traditional one, yeah. And it is a bit, it's actually kind of annoying, but I do believe it's changing a lot now. I think that is definitely something that was more common. Maybe it's just because we're older or something, but it's more common now for people not to drink than it is to drink, I think.
Wow.
It's getting there at times.
Like, it's more common for people. So you're telling me in a pub there are more people
in
Ireland.
Sorry. Okay, I should retract that statement. So let me try and rephrase it in such a way where, like, it's more acceptable now not to drink than it was in the past. Right. In the past, if you go to a bar, you must have a drink in your hand. Now, it's not the same pressure, I believe.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, that's very similar in England. That it just seems to, like you said, pressure. There is pressure to basically just get drunk, which is strange, especially now living here in Italy. I sort of was taking a step back and kind of think it is strange how there is so much pressure to get drunk. Yes. But never mind. Okay. So the next one. This is something I like a lot, actually. Again, connected to language, where the most common thing to say is "it's grand." So, like, or "how are you?" and you respond with "grand," which is kind of like "great," I suppose. Yeah.
No.
Oh shit! What is it then?
Grand is not good, not bad, whatever is grand.
Right, so it can mean anything, basically.
No. It doesn't mean good. That's what. If you ask me, how are you, Ronan, and say I'm grand, it means nothing good and nothing bad. I'm so. You know,
right?
And I could
average.
Say, the movie was grand. It wasn't amazing.
Right. Okay.
But I might watch it again if it's on TV, like.
Right. See, I've got, I've been understanding that completely wrong. Then,
but that's
for
only
years.
That's only in Ireland. So I'd be talking to my Canadian colleagues and they'd say, Ronan, how are you? And I go, I'm grand. And they make a big show and they're like, oh, that's wonderful. What happened? And I'm just like, well, I woke up and I had a coffee and I came to work. I'm grand. Nothing special. So it took us a while to understand. It was a bit of a miscommunication.
Right.
I said grand.
Yeah, I think just because, well, I thought it came from the word like grande, like the Latin word like big. So I just imagine like, it's similar to great. It starts with GR. So I just naturally assumed it was great.
Yeah.
As I always say on this podcast, every day is a school day. So I've learned something new. Right, okay. And so the big one, like in Ireland, St. Patrick's Day. Okay, it says here that most Irish people claim, so they like say that they actually dislike it, but deep down they love it. What are your feelings?
I think most people love the day off and love the fact that they don't have to go to work. When you're a kid, you love the parade. It's a bit of fun. You know, you might march in it or something like that. But as you're older, I just like the day off. And we would usually get together on the night before, on the 16th, because we don't want to get drunk on St. Patrick's Day and then have to go to work the next morning. So once I went to college, it wasn't really a big deal. Yeah.
That's an intelligent way of dealing with
wisely.
St. Patrick's. Yeah. But I love at some point the getting drunk has to take part in this event at some, like before, after, during, whatever. But just getting drunk has to be there. So
I would always go for a drink on St. Patrick's Day, like, no matter where I am. So even in Kelowna in BC, a very small town, there is actually a bit of an Irish community here. So we would get together on St. Patrick's Day, and I prefer that. But I guess one thing is, well, people are not so fond of religion anymore in Ireland. So I'd love to just rebrand St. Patrick's Day as Ireland Day or something else, you know. Right. Like take religion out of it. Let's just celebrate our country. So
sure. One interesting thing you mentioned there, how you said there's like a bit of an Irish community there. Like I think the Irish are a bit like the Italian. They're everywhere, aren't they? There's this community everywhere, and especially there's an Irish pub everywhere. Like if you go anywhere in the world, I remember I was in Lithuania once, with my wife, and then she said I wanted to watch a football match, and she said no, like there'll be nowhere to watch it anyway. Like we're here, like we have to like explore. And I said, if I find a pub, can we watch the match? And she said, okay. And then like 5 minutes later, big Irish pub, fantastic, perfect. They'll have the football on. Just everywhere you go, except the city I live, which is Palermo. There are some, they call them Irish pubs basically because they sell Guinness. But they're not, like, because when I talk of an Irish pub, other places where I've been, they're normally run by Irish people, and like there's like a kind of Irish setup, like you've got like football on TV and stuff like this, whilst the Irish pubs here is just like everything's Italian except that they sell Guinness.
Right.
So I chose the one city in the world where there is no Irish pub, which is bloody annoying. Yeah. So I've got a few things about language as well. We've already spoken about obviously grand
and the craic.
And I mean the craic as well. Yeah. So one is when people refer to like me ma'am. That's the word for mum. You say ma'am. Yeah.
Yes, a lot of people would say that.
Yes, so that seems like a really formal. It's all like ma'am.
Ma'am, what's up, ma'am? Yeah. Mammy. I did have to piss off my mom.
Right, okay. And another one I really like is feck off.
Yes.
So from what I understand, again, tell me if I'm wrong, it's like a watered down version, so like a softer version of fuck off.
Absolutely, 100%.
Right. Okay, right. At least I got that right. That's a lovely term. Lovely term. Because, you know, a nice way to tell someone to fuck off. I love that.
Yeah, just feck off, would you? Just leave me alone.
And this one, they do this in Scotland as well. To say yes, that you say I.
Not really, no.
So that doesn't happen in Ireland?
No, we're not pirates.
Right, okay. But because that definitely happens in Scotland.
Interesting. I've never been to Scotland. I really want to go. Right. It looks absolutely gorgeous.
Because, I've got a few Scottish friends here, and they're always saying, aye.
We would, okay. Well, It wouldn't be as common as Scotland, but no, yes would be more common than saying I.
Right. You know? Okay, good. So that's something that this website definitely got wrong then.
Although, because, again, if you were in, say, Northern Ireland, it would definitely be used more up there because they do have quite the Scottish influence in the past as well with plantations.
Right. Okay. Because I remember when I was a kid and like I saw that. In fact, maybe you say that now. Maybe my granddad used to say it as well. And I remember thinking, like, why are you saying, like, because I thought it was like, you know, like I am.
Right.
And I was thinking, what's this got to do with anything? If I say, like, you know, do you want a cup of tea? And someone says I was almost like waiting for them to finish the sentence of like, yes, like, I would like a cup of tea. Like I was just hearing the word I, and I was thinking, but what the hell's going on?
You know what? It's actually funny that you say that because when you first said it, I was thinking of I, as in I am as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But now that I'm really thinking about it, I'm just also like, hey, do you want to go for a beer? I'll go for a beer.
Right.
You know, we wouldn't like stress it very hard if we were saying it. You kind of, I'll go for a beer. I'll have a coffee or something like that.
Right. Okay. Got you. Okay. So that's kind of true, that one at least.
Yeah.
Okay. So another one here is that you kind of put, the difficulty with the letter R. So it says here, if you say the city Chicago, you put an R in there. Is this right?
I was called out on that the other day.
Right. So lovely term. I was called out. Like, so someone like said to me, like, why are you saying Chicago with an R?
Yeah, exactly. We would say it, and I don't know why.
Just give us a quick example.
Well, no, now I'm on the spot, so I'm just going to say Chicago.
Yeah, so there is this thing with the R. I remember I had an Irish teacher at school, and this was in like RE, like religious education. He was telling us something about Jesus, and I remember he said Jesus died at 33, just so the Irish can't pronounce it because
33 and a turd.
Yeah, 33. Because I suppose in Ireland the word, like if you say the number 3, it sounds like a tree, doesn't it?
And in Irish, like iver a tree is the 3, and then trucka would be 30 in the Irish language. So
right, okay. And so in the Irish language, how many people actually speak that?
On a daily basis, not a lot, and that's a really sad thing about it. But there is a revival, and I guess like we all speak a little bit of it if you were educated in the Republic of Ireland, but not nearly enough. And you know, one thing that I really, really want to do is become fluent and then just start teaching it the way I would teach English as an additional language. That's something that I really, really want to do because it is a beautiful language and it's also like a super secret language because like I'll speak Irish to my girlfriend over here sometimes when we're out in public just because no one around you is going to understand or something. So
right, okay, so she's Irish as well then.
Yeah.
Otherwise she wouldn't be understanding you either, and I was thinking that's a problem.
Yep. I just talk to myself.
Yeah, but do you learn it in school? Do you learn it like you learn French, for example?
We do learn it in school, but there's a lot of issues with it. But like one issue is time. So sure, we might have an hour a day, but that's only going to be 5 hours. Like 20 hours a month?
Of course.
Over how many weeks? It's not nearly enough to learn a language. And after teaching English for so long, there's definitely many better ways to have a syllabus, a curriculum, and everything like that. Yeah,
I mean, I studied French for 5 years in school, and I think the best I can come up with is Je m'appelle Martin. I'm putting my j'habite, and that's about it. Because I don't even remember my teacher actually saying anything in French the whole time I was in school.
Yeah.
If it's like that, then I totally understand. So this next one is very strange. Some of the others, you know, I'd heard of most things or whatever, but this I've never heard of. So it says that you firmly believe that flat 7-Up, so 7-Up kind of like the Americans would say soda, like fizzy drink. So flat was when it like loses the fizz. Cures all illnesses. So if you feel sick, if you've got the flu, then apparently you can cure it with some 7-Up that is flat, or you can boil 7-Up. This is true.
That's legit, man. 100%.
Where did this come from?
You can't boil the 7-Up. Let's get that straight. You can't boil it. It has to be a natural process. You can't rush it. It's art.
So it has to go flat on its own. So like you get the bottle, open it like the day before.
Yeah.
And then it's flat. And then if you've got the flu,
man, if you have cancer, you can take it and you'll be fine. Like
maybe all this vaccine stuff for the coronavirus.
That's all we have is 7-Up. Flat 7-Up injected into us.
I mean, who came up with this? This is mental.
Clearly 7-Up had a good marketing campaign at some point and it stuck.
That I can't believe that. That is absolutely mental. Like,
if I'm hungover, I love flat 7-Up when I'm hungover.
Oh, I mean, so you have to prepare for this then. So, like I said, you go out for a night out and you think, right, I'm going to feel bad tomorrow, so I'll buy a bottle of 7-Up now.
You always have an emergency one in your house, obviously. It's always a 2-liter somewhere.
Wow. I mean, I did not know that at all. And again, I would just love to, the first person that came up with that. Like, I can just imagine the first time someone says, I feel sick. And then you've got like some old grandmother just saying, well, just have this flat 7-Up. Like, and normally, I thought the reaction would be like, are you crazy? And then that person probably said yes and then told everyone. And then now people are drinking flat 7-Up to save lives.
Absolutely, man. They'll give it to you in the hospital. No, they won't. I doubt it.
Wow, that is absolutely brilliant. And so we've got another quick little bit of language as well, where there's lots of like religious terminology of like God love him. My favourite is when something sort of goes wrong and people say Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Yeah. That is a lot. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Just like shouting their names. Oh, if you're furious, you'd shout it. If you're at the end of your tether and you're pushed too far.
That's such a great term. I love the way they just all the names of everyone in the family. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. But Jesus, I mean, he essentially is the child though. Okay, sure, son of God as well, but he comes before Mary and Joseph. I'm not sure what they would think of that. Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
I never thought about that either until right now. Like, who decided that was the order they should be mentioned?
Poor Joseph always gets a kind of bad deal.
Always forgotten, man.
Exactly. Always, just last there. Oh. And so God love him as well, and God bless him. And then when you talk about someone that has passed away after having a great time at the funeral, then you talk about that person and then add God rest his soul.
Or God rest him, God love him, or something like that.
God love him. Love it.
But again, these are things that I believe my parents would definitely say, but I wouldn't be saying them. And
so
that would be a characteristic of the next generation, I find, definitely. Move away from the church.
I hope Jesus, Mary and Joseph stays, because that's just absolutely
There's certain ones that we will always keep, and we don't even know why we say it. And like, I'll even say thank God when something good happens, and I'm like, but do I
I say that as well, thank God. But they're just the naming everyone in the family. I love that.
It's a good one.
Okay, so to finish it, actually no, there is just one more before we get to the last one, where it says the news in the evening. So like in England, for example, it's like the 6 o'clock news, and in Ireland it's at 6:01.
Yeah, there's a bit of a contentious thing nowadays.
And again, why? So someone said, right, we need to put the news on TV. Right, what about 6 o'clock? And someone said, you know what, I think 6:01 is better. And again, normally you would think you would laugh at that person, but then everyone obviously went, that's a great idea. 6:01.
Give that man a promotion right now. The reason for that, along with many, many other issues in Ireland, stems right back to the Catholic Church. And we had the Angelus. The Angelus was a moment of reflection that if you're in an Irish town and there's a church, they will ring the bell at 6 p.m. Right. And that's when you're meant to just have a moment of reflection for a minute. And then they get into the news.
Okay. I mean, that kind of makes sense. But so you're watching TV, what, from 6 to 6:01, there's nothing on TV?
No, there will be on, like, the channel. The Angelus is what it's called. The Angelus is a 1-minute TV show every day on RTE1, which is one of the state television programs. And then the news would be on that channel right after the Angelus.
Oh, so it's a 1-minute TV program. Wow.
It's a 1-minute TV program, man, and it's on 5 days a week.
Wow, 1-minute TV program.
Yeah,
like the fact that it's actually called a program, not even like an advert.
Oh, I don't even but I mean, it is like another thing that's just left over from the church being in complete control. So I imagine that'll be gone fairly soon, because especially with Ireland now becoming a lot more multicultural too. So it's like, well, should we have a call to prayer on TV as well for Islam and whatever for any other faith? So
interesting. Okay, so now the last point. So it says, you're Irish when you go red raw under the sun. So a little bit of sun, like anything over 20 degrees, basically.
That's hot.
And then you go red. So that's obviously really hot in Ireland, 20 degrees, I imagine, yeah?
Yeah, we've never actually had a temperature above 32, I think it is, in the history of the state.
Right, okay. And because obviously, so now you live in Canada, and we were talking in our pre-podcast chat, you get some hot temperatures there. So then how do you deal with that then?
I've never really had an issue with it, and I don't know what it is, but myself, my sister, my brother, we don't really burn or anything. Like, we burn a little bit, but we do tan fairly well. So we might be unique, but I do have some friends that as soon as they go onto the beach the first day in the summer, they will just come back like a lobster, no matter how much sun cream they put on. And it's like a rite of passage for them every summer. They must do this at least once or twice a summer.
Well, you come back, like you said, red as a lobster. Just drink some flat lemonade, and then you'll be fine.
7-Up. It has to be 7-Up. You can't go for any basic lemonade here.
Right. It has to be 7-Up.
Yeah, obviously.
Right. Okay. So just remember that. Well, in fact, don't take that as medical advice. Like, if you get sick, like I don't want anyone sending me messages saying, I thought that was going to save my life, and it didn't work. Okay. So take it with a pinch of salt, as we say. But okay. So anyway, Ronan, it's been great hearing about all of these things in Ireland. So tell us where we can find out more about you.
All right, so first I have a website called littlesealenglish.com. So that is my website. Nice. So please, people, check it out. I'd say there's a link somewhere.
Yeah, I'll put that in the show notes. Yeah.
Sweet. I'm also on Instagram, and the handle is @English_on-the-road. So the website is Little Seal English, and the Instagram is English on the Road. So check them both out, please.
Perfect. We will do. Okay, thanks a lot for your time, and we'll see you soon.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the episode. I know I certainly did. Now we are all a bit more informed about Ireland. Remember to go and check out Ronan's stuff. All of the links to his channels are in the show notes, which are rockandrollenglish.com/episode 244. I will see you all very soon, people, but in the meantime, just keep on rocking, baby.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.